Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. We're here on the morning of day 14. Search and rescue has continued their operation, and we are fortunate that the weather has cleared this morning. The teams continue to make progress in the areas of the pile that were inaccessible prior to the demolition, and I am glad to report that despite the difficult conditions the teams experienced, no injuries to the first responders were reported in this last operational period. Through these efforts, and since our last briefing, the USAR teams recovered an additional 10 victims, bringing the total confirmed deaths to 46. 32 of these victims have been identified, and next of kin notifications have been made. At this time, 200 people are now accounted for, and 94 people are still unaccounted for. As we've continued to stress, the detectives are working continuously to follow up on all of the leads to determine whether all of these potentially missing persons were actually in the building during the collapse. As the magnitude of this catastrophe continues to grow each and every day since the collapse, our community and the world are grieving with all of the families who are living through this unthinkable tragedy. Every single victim uncovered is somebody's child, somebody's mother, somebody's teacher, somebody's colleague, a classmate, a best friend. Our hearts break for those who are mourning and for those who are waiting and waiting. So please continue to wrap your love and your prayers and your arms around each of these families at the center of the tragedy. We continue to provide twice daily briefings to the families of those missing loved ones. They are hearing developments firsthand from our first responders, and they're able to answer questions. And we are deeply, deeply grateful to the first responders who've spent so much time with these family members, hearing their stories and developing relationships of trust. Our commitment to this mission is deeply personal. This is our community, our neighbors, our families, and our first responders have truly searched that pile every single day since the collapse, as if they're searching for their own loved ones. I just came from greeting the team that's going out at noon. Our Miami-Dade County Task Force 1 members who've been here since the beginning. They could go home, but they're still here. We're so grateful to these everyday heroes. They're superheroes. We've called upon them to do something extraordinary, and I am in endless awe of their grace, their compassion, and their dedication. We'll be back here at 5:30 to provide you with our afternoon briefing. Thank you, everyone, and God bless. Buenos días, aquí estamos en la mañana del día 14. La búsqueda y el rescate continuaron su operación y tenemos la suerte de que el clima se haya mejorado esta mañana. Los equipos continuaron avanzando en las áreas de la pila que eran inaccesibles antes de la demolición. Me complace informar que a pesar de las difíciles condiciones que experimentaron los equipos, ninguno de ellos han estado herido. A través de estos esfuerzos y desde nuestra última sesión informativa, los equipos recuperaron a 10 víctimas adicionales de esta tragedia, elevando nuestro total de muertes confirmadas a 46. Se han identificado 32 de esas víctimas y se han realizado notificaciones a las familiares más cercanos. En este momento se contabilizan 200 personas y 5 personas están desaparecidas. nuestros corazones se rompan por los que están de luto y por los que están esperando. Por favor, continúe envolviendo su amor y sus oraciones. En nuestra comunidad y especialmente en las familias en el centro de esta tragedia. Nuestro compromiso con esta misión es profundamente personal. Esta es nuestra comunidad, nuestros vecinos y familias, y nuestros socorristas realmente han buscado esa pila todos los días desde el colapso, como si estuvieran buscando sus propios seres queridos. Estaremos de regreso aquí a las 5:30. Gracias.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You've been a true leader. Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett.
I second that. Thank you, Mayor Cava. Today, I visited the site to check the collapse and speak with our search and rescue teams. They are working nonstop. I have not seen it as busy as it is since the first day I was here. They are utilizing every bit of heavy equipment that they have on site to maximize the effort to pull out all of our trapped residents. I also visited with the families at the Marriott, the surviving families, and attended the morning briefing today. I know that the families want to visit the site and be close to their relatives, and I also know that Mayor Cava is extremely sensitive to this request and is working very hard to make that happen without endangering the families or impeding the progress of the search and rescue. Today, our engineers and our staff are in the north building, the Champlain North, the building that's substantially the same as the one that collapsed without explanation. They're in there with ground penetrating radar and other tools to continue to assess the structural situation there at that building. It's part of a process that the town of Surfside has undertaken to determine whether or not that building meets minimum standards and can be considered safe for the residents. As you know, early on we made alternative housing available to those residents who wanted to voluntarily relocate, and that offer still stands. I'm told that once the information is gathered, for instance, the amount of steel in the slabs and in the columns and all the rest, that information will have to be analyzed, and that will take several weeks, at which point we will have a better idea of any anomalies that may exist. Lastly, I spoke with Mary Snow this morning, who heads up the Support Surfside website. We have $1,700,000 in committed funds, and we have $1,300,000 in promised funds. Mary thinks that those promised funds will be forthcoming very shortly. She's been listening very carefully to all the requests of the families and those that are supporting the families, and I want to commend her for that. I had called her yesterday about a request I'd received from some of the families regarding document replacement and the cost associated with same. When I called her this morning, she told me she was going to announce that each family was going to receive $5,000 from the fund today. So I'm pleased about that, and I expect there'll be more coming from there. I know Surfside Vice Mayor is here, and she's been meeting with those families also. She'll be talking about some additional information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Surfside Vice Mayor Tina Paul.
Thank you, and I just want to say our hearts are with the families, the victims, our town, our community, the workers helping us, people standing here with me. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, media, for telling our story. To give an update, I've been working behind the scenes, and I've been assisting with the investigation as far as bringing in information that has come my way so that our team can evaluate it and see if it is relevant or not. Yes, of course. Yesterday I had a meeting, I had several meetings. The one that relates to the families is the survivors, and the point is to get them back to help rebuild their lives. So we were able to, with the help of Senator Jason Pizzo and Spencer Hemmings, the DBPR condominium ombudsman, we were able to bring in the receiver who is managing the condominium funds from this point on, and he was able to provide information to the survivors of what they can expect and how to move forward, and what is going to be required of them, what they can expect to receive, and also how they can participate in the hearings that the judge is doing on their behalf. And we have a long way to go with that. We're still trying to find housing for them within this 33154 zip code. So that's also a priority, just to help rebuild their lives. That's the best way to start, is to have a home that you can call your own. Right now they're in a hotel. On the other front, because we're getting a lot of requests from condominiums, many condominium board members and presidents have reached out to me, and their concern is the safety of their building. And I too reside in a condominium, so I understand it a lot better. And I met with our engineering firm and building department because the town had sent out a release recommending geotechnical surveying of the properties that are existing beyond 30 years old. And it's important to get better guidance for that. I brought in an engineer that's just a neighbor of mine, and they were able to converse and come up with a better recommendation. So that will be coming forward from the town, and also to see what the town can do to assist in this geotechnical testing, because that's new territory to us once the property is built. So I'm happy to report these updates, and continue please to pray for the families, our town, the soul of our people lost and found, and also for the communities that are in the path of the hurricane. We pray for their safety as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Chief Alan Kaminsky.
Good morning. We're conducting search operations all throughout the rubble pile, utilizing our federal task force teams, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and New Jersey, as well as our Florida Task Force 1, Florida Task Force 2. We had no work pauses throughout this last operational period, as well as no injuries to any of our personnel. We're working as hard as we can to try to locate all loved ones.
Thank you, Chief. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Director of Media and Public Relations, Erica Benitez.
Buenos días. Continuamos nuestros esfuerzos de búsqueda y rescate toda la noche. Anoche no tuvimos ninguna interrupción en esta búsqueda. También continuamos trabajando, buscando sobre todo los cuadrantes sobre los escombros en este momento, a los cuales no tuvimos acceso en el principio, y esto es gracias al derrumbe de la edificación que quedó en pie. Continuamos trabajando en un periodo operativo de 12 horas con aproximadamente 240 miembros de la Fuerza de Búsqueda y Rescate, al igual que los equipos de Pensilvania, Ohio, Indiana, Virginia y Nueva Jersey. Hemos removido en este momento aproximadamente 4.200 yardas cúbicas de escombro, lo cual equivale a un promedio de 3.500 toneladas de escombros. Gracias.
Thank you, Erica. Representing the Small Business Administration, Roberto Baltodano.
Good morning, everyone. In the name of the SBA family, we echo Mayor Levine Cava's sentiment in that our heart goes out to everyone who's been affected by this. Homeowners, renters, the families, friends, and most importantly, our business community, as well as our first responders who are hard at work every day, keeping the hope alive. Our team on the ground is providing assistance by way of affordable, long-term, low-interest federal disaster loans. These loans are designed to help disaster survivors recover by way of a physical disaster loan to help them repair or replace damaged goods, and or economic injury loans, which many of you have become familiar through COVID. Those are loans designed to provide working capital to our business community. As of last night, we had received 52 applications. 21 of those applications came from homeowners and renters, 31 from the business community. 16 of those 31 were for the economic injury loan. We expect those numbers to increase as the next days and weeks go by, and we extend again an invitation to the business community, homeowners and renters. If you are a homeowner and renter who's been affected by this, please visit us at the Family Assistance Center. If you're a member of the business community, come see us at the Business Recovery Center on 95th and College. If for one reason or another you're unable to visit us in person, please visit us at sba.gov/disaster or give us a call at 1-800-659-2955. Y ahora en español. De parte de la familia de la SBA, hacemos eco del sentimiento de la alcaldesa Levin Cava en el hecho de que estamos con todos aquellos que han sufrido los efectos de este gran desastre, así sean las familias que perdieron sus seres queridos, a nuestros líderes, a los rescatistas. Todos están pasando por momentos difíciles. Sin embargo, es a través de esa unidad que estamos encaminados hacia la recuperación. En esa nota, el equipo de la SBA está proveyendo asistencia tanto por medio de préstamos federales de muy bajo interés y a largo plazo, muy flexibles, para que tanto los dueños de casa, inquilinos y los negocios puedan o reparar o reponer daños físicos o aplicar para la línea de recuperación económica, lo cuales son préstamos que le proveen una línea de capital operativo a nuestra comunidad de negocios. Hasta el día de ayer, al cierre del día de ayer, hemos recibido 52 aplicaciones. 21 de esas aplicaciones han venido de dueños de casa o inquilinos. 31 han sido por parte de la comunidad de negocios y non-profit organizations y entidades sin fines de lucro. 16 de esas 31 aplicaciones han sido para el programa de recuperación económica. Esperamos que esos números incrementen en la medida que los días y las semanas van pasando y estamos ahí, así sea que nos visiten en el Centro de Asistencia Familiar o en el Centro de Recuperación Empresarial en el 95 de Collins. Y si por alguna razón usted no está en posición de visitarnos físicamente, nos puede visitar en sba.gov/desastre hoy mismo. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and I welcome to the podium our Creole translator, Leonel Letterbourg.
Mesdames, Messieurs, bonjour. Jeudi, nous sommes le 14e jour depuis la catastrophe là arrivée. L'équipe recherche avec Surfside, nous continuons à travailler de manière inlassable. Nous avons dit que nous estimons que nous sommes chanceux parce que tant collaboré avec nous pendant l'heure qui sont passées. Malheureusement, nous avons annoncé que nous avons 10 personnes que nous arrivons à joindre qui sont décédés. Ça porte un chiffre nous à un total de 46 et 32 personnes déjà identifiées. Au total, 200 personnes que nous estimons que nous comptons qui existaient et en quantité 94 que nous pouvons connaître côté. L'équipe détective nous continue à travailler pour être sûr que les gens qui rapportent que n'ont pas identifié que nous pas joindre encore, que les gens sont effectivement en dans le building là. Donc l'équipe détective a travaillé de sorte que vous portez lumière sur ça. À cause de magnitude et ampleur catastrophe qui est arrivée, ça mettait toute communauté noire avec tout le monde là sous pied aujourd'hui et à pleurer les gens qui disparaissent. Nous avons été solides, nous avons été soudés ensemble dans un moment difficile ça. Merci un peu.
Thank you, Mr. Letterbourg, and we're going to begin the questions and answer session. Once again, I think you guys already know. Let's make this in an orderly fashion. We'll go with the AP right here.
For the fire chief, have you seen any indication from any of the bodies that have been recovered so far that any of them survived the initial collapse?
No, we have not.
NBC.
Mayor, I've been about to start my 38th year in television, and I've never received responses from friends around the world talking about what a beloved figure you are. I know you don't want me to make it about you, but I'm sorry for all what you and everyone are going through, the rescue and the teams. How are you dealing with it? How do you set aside the sadness not, frankly, have anger over a building that went down that shouldn't have happened? How do you move forward?
From day one, I have been surrounded by people who know what they're doing, who are the best of the best, who are putting themselves on the line to help these families, to save the victims. That is what I'm focused on. That is what keeps me going.
Telemundo.
Alcaldesa, quiero decirle que siento su dolor como miembro de esta comunidad. Yo también vivo a unas cuadras de aquí y siento su dolor. He tenido la oportunidad de hablar con muchas familias que desafortunadamente sus familiares estaban rentando o vacacionando en este edificio. Esas familias han llegado de Colombia, de Paraguay, de muchos lugares de Argentina. Y quisiera preguntarle si a esas familias también se les va a ofrecer algún tipo de ayuda y cuál sería. Y también le quisiera preguntar cómo se va a entregar la ayuda a las familias que sí tenían un departamento, que sí eran dueños de un departamento. Usted ayer mencionaba que era una cantidad de entre $2,500 a $5,000 y que se entregarían tarjetas. Si usted me puede ampliar un poco más cómo se les va a entregar esa ayuda y si esa es la cantidad correcta la que yo mencioné.
Primero quiero decir que aquí vivimos en un lugar tan inclusivo, tan internacional, que da el bienvenido a todos que vienen y así vamos a seguir. Y para todos que están sufriendo, todos que tuvieron pérdidas de cualquier tipo, por eso tenemos los fondos y la generosidad del mundo entero está acá en Surfside. Y hoy en la tarde tengo una conferencia telefónico para hablar de todo eso, de cómo vamos a pensar en distribuir fondos para el beneficio de todos.
Over here, followed by Christian.
Mayor Pablo, as you're continuing to work forward with everything, can you update us on the audit and the investigation and where those two things stand today and what you're hoping as you move forward?
You're talking about the building audit?
Correct.
So our county department immediately went into overdrive. Mind you, our recertifications in county are on time. So this was not about finding fault with our building department, which does an excellent job. It simply was to review once again any conditions that might cause some additional concern. And as you know, we found 4 balconies. So those balconies were closed off. The building was not evacuated. The balconies will be fixed. That is the audit that the county has conducted. Going forward, I'm so grateful that cities are also responding and doing their own audits. As you know, that has taken place in North Miami Beach and Miami Beach. We are, and of course Surfside, that is doing its own due diligence. There will be changes. There will be improvements made. We are convening a group of experts, as I've said, to advise us, and we'll be announcing other changes as well.
Christian.
En español. El auditorio, is that correct? The audit? Auditoria. La auditoria que hicimos en el condado nos indicó que había 4 balcones en un edificio que tuvimos que cerrar, pero fuera de eso no tenemos condiciones peligrosas, pero nosotros tenemos un proceso muy completo y tenemos las recertificaciones que necesitamos, pero vamos a continuar monitoreando y verificando que tenemos todos que necesitamos por el condado. Pero también estoy muy agradecida que las ciudades también están siguiendo con sus propias auditorías y, por ejemplo, Surfside, Miami Beach, North Miami Beach, y nosotros en el condado vamos a continuar trabajando con ellos y revisando donde podemos para dar más seguridad y hacer cambios donde sería beneficial.
We're going to go with the last 4 questions. You've already been pre-selected. Christian? Christian?
My question is for the fire chief. Chief, have any of your crew been able to get to those 3 search areas closest to the building? And if so, is
We've definitely been able now to access all areas of the rubble pile and the grids, not specific to where exactly we've been able to locate victims, but they have been throughout.
Have you been able to get to the underneath portion that most of the floors is probably?
We're continuing delayering in that section, so we definitely have delayered several sections, but not the entire area yet.
Over here, sir.
Miami, Herald.
You're next.
Yeah, for the mayor. As you continue to do these audits and as buildings are deemed to be structurally unsafe to be evacuated, what is the county doing to provide housing for people who are evacuated from these unsafe structures?
Well, so far, the North Miami Beach building is the one that was evacuated, and we immediately opened up emergency shelter for them. And we've worked with the Red Cross and with the Homeless Trust to secure hotel rooms and assist them with relocation. And we'll continue the same.
Going forward, will the same thing happen for other buildings?
We are certainly here, as we always will be, for people who are displaced or homeless. And again, Red Cross and the Homeless Trust are two of our key partners.
Last two right here and follow, and then over here.
Also, another along those same lines for you, Mayor Connell, please. Can you update us on how many buildings in Miami-Dade have been evacuated and how many are being looked at also to potentially be evacuated?
In Miami-Dade County, we looked at about 40 buildings, and only one had the structural deficiency that resulted in some additional action, and that was the 4 balconies. Nobody was evacuated. North Miami Beach did evacuate 1 building. That is all that I'm aware.
And our final question back here.
For Chief Kaminsky. So, it's been 14 days now, 46 bodies pulled from the rubble. Had search crews here from around the world, including the Israelis, who said that at this point they don't believe we will find any survivors. To continue to call this a search and rescue operation, is that providing a false sense of hope to families and communities that someone will be found when around the world experts who were here on the site are just not seeing any evidence that that's the case?
Well, we're continuing our search efforts are ongoing at this time, and we're evaluating all input, all circumstances, and we'll provide updates as we continue.
But you don't think it's a false sense of hope to tell families that someone can still be rescued underneath all the debris this far along when what you're seeing? I mean, you've already said today that there's no more void spaces. You don't see spaces where someone might be currently alive right now.
Obviously, it's very difficult. We've been working around the clock, all our personnel. From when we first got here, as a fire chief, obviously I couldn't be prouder of the men and women of Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. All the task forces from the state level, from the federal level, international support. We've been exhausting every effort, and that's where we are right now is exhausting every effort, and we'll go from there.
Yes, I do. I just want to say that these families, they've been briefed twice a day. Every question has been answered. They are being supported to come to closure as soon as possible.